Hi, this is Justin Kahn from the Decatur Herald and Review here at Maroa-Forsyth High School, Walter Boyd Field, where tonight, in a game that matched probably the two top teams in the Okaw Valley Blue Division, probably was the conference title tonight. Maroa-Forsyth defeated Argenta-Oreana 49-15. Really started with the very first play from scrimmage from the game. Jack Hockaday from Maroa, the quarterback, dropped back like he was going to run an option play, then set the pass and hit Clayton Zills for a 72-yard touchdown. And it was kind of right there they set the tone. I think that, Argenta took the chance to kick off to Maroa first, thinking maybe, they could get a stop and maybe be in the game and have the ball to start the second half. But, it just didn't work out that way, especially when they start out like that. And Argenta did match that touchdown, ended up taking the 7-6 lead on the next possession. Maroa had a couple of penalties, that, including a celebration penalty on that touchdown that gave Argenta a really good field position. Austin Winskuna scored on a 4-yard touchdown run, but really until late in the game, until garbage time, there wasn't much else that really went well for Argenta in this game. Maroa, their strength is to kind of find a weakness in your secondary. They have enough athletes to where they're going to be able to find a mismatch, and in this game they weren't able to guard Drew Frederickson. Argenta was not able to guard him. He ended up with 9 catches, 188 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Of course, that led to a huge day for Jack Hockaday as well. Hockaday ends up 13 of 18, 277 yards, and all 4 TDs to Frederickson. He also ran 16 times for 90 yards and a touchdown. And Frederickson just put on a clinic. He's not a really big guy. He's skinny, but he's tall and he's fast. And when they went one-on-one against him, it just didn't work out very well. He had several long touchdowns. He had touchdown catches of 42 and 50 among his 4 touchdown catches. Had another catch that got called back. It was about a 45-yard touchdown. They called offensive pass interference on him. I don't know. It looked like the guys were just kind of fighting for the ball, but, that happens. But just really an example of what Maroa's strength is, and that's just too many good receivers to cover for most Okaw schools, most 2A and 1A schools to cover, and that was the difference in this game, all the way. Got a little chippy, got a little ugly. There had been a lot of talk really over the last couple of years between these teams, and there were some personal fouls. I don't think it really ever got out of hand, but tempers flared, emotions were high. There were some late hits, some personal fouls. Fortunately, nobody got kicked out of the game. Nobody will miss next week. So, I think it's just kind of that's the way it happens in an emotional football game like this. Maroa will do plenty of running this week after committing a ton of penalties in this game. I think that's that's probably the one thing they really need to clean up is penalties. I think it's kind of been a problem for them this year, and maybe when they get in the playoffs that kind of smooths itself out. But when a team has basically had a running clock 5 out of the 6 games, it's kind of hard to pick on anything they've done. They've just been awesome. They've lived up to the hype so far. They're the number 1 team in 2A, and I don't think really you can argue, anybody could argue that. And whether they end up in a 1A or 2A in the playoffs, I can't see anybody really giving them much of a challenge until the finals. Argenta, on the other hand, right now looks like they're going to be a 2-loss team heading into the playoffs. And in 1A, they're going to give some teams some trouble. Didn't necessarily see it tonight, but a lot of great athletes. They'll get Gage Eller back at quarterback in a couple of weeks. So, not necessarily, definitely don't want to hit the panic button if you're Argenta. I think that happened to them last year when they lost this game and lost to A&M as well last year, where all of a sudden they just weren't the same team after that. That's something they had to watch, but I do think they learned from that and will be better going forward. Again, the final here tonight, 49-15, Maroa over Argenta-Oreana. Make sure you check back to hrpreps.com for all the coverage.
We can get away with the little details and missteps and being slow and recover from it against teams that we're better than. But when you play a team like this, these guys, you're 1/2 second too slow, they're done. They got you beat. We didn't tackle well, we didn't block well, and if you don't do those 2 things, you're not going to win, especially against these guys.
They tried to put one guy over me. Usually there's a corner and a safety, and our line was able to give Jack time to throw me the ball, and I was able to make plays out there.
Coach Eisenbanger's from Unity, so we knew, coming in, what would Unity do differently, because he's going to look at that tape, know that that's identical to what his game plan is. And, honestly, with our 3-by-1 set, Unity double team Drew, and then you're not even looking to him. And Clayton had a big day. Rats had a big day against those guys. They moved a fourth guy, over there, 4 versus our 3. The problem is to do that, you go one-on-one over there. That's why we leave a kid like Drew over there in a one-on-one matchup. We feel like we're going to win that most of the time. Our quarterback's pretty accurate, and we got a kid that runs pretty good routes and is going to catch the ball. I don't know what he finished with, but he had a pretty special night just at half. So